Greetings, Guardians. This is Olympus Alliance, and today we are talking about one of the most dangerous heroes currently walking the battlefield. A hero that many players underestimate when they first encounter him. A hero that doesn't rely on complicated mechanics, endless control effects, or flashy tricks. Instead, he wins through pressure. Relentless pressure. The kind of pressure that keeps increasing until eventually the enemy team simply collapses. Today, Guardians, we talk about Drayne, the swordsman, the executioner, and one of the most terrifying finishers currently available in Hero Wars Alliance. Now, Guardians, before we start breaking down his abilities, there is one thing every player needs to understand about Drayne. His true power is not found in his first attack. It is not found in his opening seconds. And it is not even found in his damage numbers alone. His true power comes from momentum. Because the longer Drayne remains active on the battlefield, the more dangerous he becomes. Every swing of that enormous sword carries weight. Every attack pushes the enemy team closer to defeat. And Drayne has a very simple philosophy. Apply pressure, increase pressure, then finish the job. His basic attacks already begin demonstrating this idea. Every third basic attack expands his offensive reach, allowing him to strike multiple enemies around him. This means nearby opponents are constantly being pressured from the very beginning of the fight. And while many heroes focus on a single target, Drayne begins spreading danger across the entire front line. But then comes the moment players recognize immediately. The rising tornado. 3 devastating strikes crashing into nearby enemies in front of him. And Guardians, this is where Drayne starts transforming into something much more dangerous. Because the damage itself is only part of the story. Every time he executes this attack, his size increases. His physical attack increases. And suddenly, the battlefield starts feeling smaller for the enemy team. The pressure becomes heavier. The range becomes larger. The threat becomes more difficult to avoid. And this is exactly why long fights against Drayne can become incredibly uncomfortable. One ultimate, then another, each one making him stronger than before. Eventually, the front line is no longer the only thing under attack. The pressure begins reaching deeper into the enemy formation. Middle line heroes start feeling threatened. Backline heroes start feeling threatened. And Guardians, that is exactly how Drayne was designed to function. Not through a single explosive moment, but through constant escalation. Now let's move to another reason why Drayne stands out. Because despite being known primarily for damage, he also brings valuable support to the team around him. As an experienced leader and warrior, he shares his crushing power with allies positioned behind him. At the same time, he attacks the nearest enemies standing in his path. This creates a very aggressive battlefield environment. One where your team is constantly being encouraged to push forward, faster, harder, more aggressively. And that opens the door to one of Drayne's greatest strengths, fast eliminations. Because Drayne does not want prolonged opportunities for the enemy to recover, he does not want opponents stabilizing the battlefield. He wants targets removed, quickly. And that brings us to the ability that truly defines him. The final verdict. Guardians. This is the ability that makes players nervous whenever they see Drayne standing on the opposite side of the battlefield. Because this ability changes the rules. Once enemies reach sufficiently low health, Drayne becomes their nightmare. Every skill, every attack, every strike suddenly becomes a potential execution. And what makes this mechanic so frightening is the fact that Drayne is a strength hero. His execution threshold scales from his health, and Drayne can accumulate a tremendous amount of health throughout a battle. That means the line between survival and elimination becomes much larger than many players initially expect. A hero that believes they are safe may suddenly discover they are not safe at all. And once Drayne decides it is time to deliver judgment, there is no appeal, there is no second chance, there is no resurrection, there is no return. This is one of the most important parts of his kit. Many heroes throughout Hero Wars can recover from defeat. Some can resurrect, some can return to battle, some can delay their downfall. Drayne removes that possibility entirely. Once the execution occurs, the story ends. And Guardians. It becomes even more frightening when we consider the defensive tools that normally protect heroes. Shields, damage reduction, protective layers. Many heroes rely on these mechanics to survive dangerous situations. Drayne doesn't care. His purpose is simple: finish the target. And once the target reaches that critical threshold, almost nothing feels safe anymore. Now, naturally, a hero built around pressure and execution loves having the right teammates supporting him. And fortunately for Drayne, there are several heroes capable of helping him become even more dangerous. Let's begin with Byrna and Guardians. This may be one of the most natural partnerships available. Byrna constantly restores health, provides additional energy, and continuously increases maximum health throughout the battle. For Drayne, that is incredible. More health means a stronger execution threshold. More energy means more opportunities to unleash Rising Tornado. And more survivability means more time to build momentum. Then we have Tempus, another hero capable of increasing Drayne's maximum health while simultaneously weakening physical opponents. Again, everything here contributes toward Drayne's ultimate goal: become harder to stop, become stronger, execute more targets. Corvus is another excellent partner. His offensive support dramatically increases the pressure Drayne applies to enemy teams. The more damage Drayne creates, the faster opponents approach that terrifying execution range. Then we have Octavia and Guardians. This combination has become increasingly interesting. Octavia grants dodge benefits, additional energy generation, and armor penetration support. All of these factors help Drayne remain active while simultaneously increasing his offensive efficiency. And finally, Guus, a hero that many players immediately recognize as one of the strongest sustained partners available. Damage over time effects have become increasingly common throughout Hero Wars, especially with heroes such as Iris creating enormous pressure through continuous damage. Guus helps stabilize that situation beautifully. His healing reduces the impact of those effects while simultaneously increasing critical hit opportunities. The result is a Drayne that remains healthy, dangerous, and constantly threatening executions. And Guardians. That is ultimately what makes Drayne so special. He is not trying to be clever. He is not trying to confuse the enemy. He is not trying to win through tricks. He wins through pressure. He wins through momentum. And once that momentum starts building, stopping him becomes incredibly difficult. Because every attack pushes the enemy closer to defeat. Every ultimate makes him stronger. And every low health opponent suddenly finds themselves staring directly at the final verdict. Stay tuned, stay sharp, and as always, salute and friendship.